Welcome to another episode of Cancer Tamer. I'm your host, Dr. Charley Ferrer. And of course, with me is...
Hi, I'm Debra Santulli-Barone of Did You Know of Cancer Tamer.
So this year, we want to start it right as we end last year and do a little closing discussion about all the things that we've had done and the things that we are looking forward to. And we want to talk to you about closing out last year and starting new. So, Debra, what do you think about last year?
Last year was a fun year when we started. We've been doing this show for more than a year, and we've had some great people on it, and we had some good subjects that we talked about between massage therapy and yoga and what was it? Marijuana.
We had marijuana and how marijuana, and we're actually going to bring Dr. Ashe.
I think that's his name.
Bringing him back. But, you know, if you look at all the shows that we had last year and the year before, because we've actually been doing this for
2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah, that's right.
And looking at all the different shows, there's so much amazing information. We had the meditation, learning how to meditate and how we talk about what we're experiencing and how we internalize that. So I would say if you don't know about NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, you really need to start noticing how you talk to yourself, which was so amazing that Gary had come and talked to us about that. Because of the way, if you're talking to yourself and saying bad things,
right,
then that's what you're going to get. And I recently, one of the physicians that I know, she turned me on to The Secret. And it's,
yes, I read that. Yeah.
You've read the book. I actually got it on audio.
Okay.
And so if you want a free copy of the audio for The Secret, send me your email and I will, connect you with a free audio for that. But what I found so amazing is that I've been doing law of attraction for a long time, and yet it still hadn't dawned on me.
Right. Until you read everything, right?
You read it until it actually starts making sense. And so with the audio book for The Secret, I found it where I had so many voices in my head talking because there's so many.
But it's always been like that.
Hey.
We have a few personalities. I think exciting people, creative people have a few different personalities.
It's as many personalities as I do shoes, and that's kind of scary. But the beautiful thing about The Secret itself was the fact that it was done so well because you had different voices. You had the authors talking. You had the other speakers talking. So you were constantly being interacted and entertaining with, which was wonderful. And I bring that up because of the fact that as we step into the new year, we need to start looking at other things. And we need to start looking at new ways of living our life and new ways of interacting with the people that we love and the strangers around us and so on. Because what I find, and this is true for myself, is that we get stuck in a pattern and we do the same thing over and over. And we cook the same foods, we go to the same places, we talk to the same people, we act the same way, we wear the same clothes, everything is the same.
Right, we're like creatures of habit.
We are.
Whether we know it or not.
And some habits are good.
Right.
And some habits need to change. But most of all, how do you want to spend the next 365 days of your life, 330, whatever we're up to at this point. How do you want to spend it? What do you want to do?
Right.
What are you going to attract to yourself? Because I also find that when we start just looking at negativity and just bitching all the time and just being miserable, and just talking about our illness over and over. I mean, how long does this record go? So
rerun.
I know. It's like, you know, your heart is broken and you listen to the oldies and you listen to
cry.
the sad song.
Yeah.
Well, it's a sad song and it's over and over and over and over. And the record can be getting white because you've used it so long. But when the hell do you take that record, break it, and start a new one?
Right, that's
true. And record a new one for yourself. So I think it's really important to sit down with yourself, take a moment, go for a walk, whatever, and say, what do I plan to attract for my life this year? Mm-hmm. How am I going to change? And it doesn't have to be radical. You don't have to go and change your hair. You know?
Like we tend to do that often.
We tend to do. And it's funny. Thank you, all of you, for watching, because we'll get comments of, are you changing your hair again? Because I figure I like to change my hair.
Right.
You know, I get into a different mood and I change my hair. You look gorgeous with your new cut.
We both look great.
And the stuff. So what are you going to do to change yours?
Right.
I mean, what do you got planned for this year that you're planning to change?
Okay, so I plan to change the way I think of myself, and it's mainly like little things that you don't think of that you say without thinking, like, oh, that was stupid that you did that, or whatever. That's putting negativity on yourself. Or making you believe that that was such a dumb act, when it's just human to err, you know, to make mistakes. So that's number one. Talk more positive to myself. The heck with who talks positive or doesn't talk positive to me, but mainly to talk to myself a lot more positive. Like, when I do something good, why don't I say? Or why doesn't anyone say, hey, that was great, awesome, you know? We're so used to, you know, giving everybody else, we slam ourselves, and yet we give everybody else credit for everything, and we really forget about ourselves, and years of this can wear you down. So it's important. That's number one, is a change. Of course, always the factor is, you know, trying to stay healthy by exercising and watching what I eat. That's important. But I'd like to do more creative or expand my mind, because it's been boggled down with so many thoughts. And when you first have cancer, you know, there's too much to think about besides thinking about, oh, let me be creative.
And you're in survival mode.
Yeah, you definitely are.
When you hear the word cancer and you hear the word, you know, oh, there's an issue and we need another biopsy, or we need another MRI, or you're going to, you know, to events that you have to get a new test. It always becomes that fear, and you jump into survival mode, and you jump
and that's
into
all that matters.
Fear mode, and you get this you know, this
tunnel vision.
Thank you. I can't even say the word. You get this tunnel vision where you can't step out of it, and you know, and so looking for ways of bringing a better decisions into your life, better thoughts into your life, and better thoughts of yourself.
Right.
Because
that helps.
You said it, you know, how do we talk about ourselves? Do you look in the mirror and say, hey, gorgeous, how are you doing today? You know, do you say, hey, girlfriend, you did so great, you did this?
Right.
Do you call yourself? And I do this. And,
I want to hear about this.
But I will call myself and I say, Charley, you did awesome. That was so cool what you did.
That's good.
Just for a 5-second acknowledgement.
Right.
Because the piece of it is that we wait for other people to acknowledge us. And we wait for somebody else to say, oh, well, you did good. Or, oh, girl, you look so great. Or, but we're waiting for somebody else to acknowledge something wonderful that we did. Well, you know, the buck stops here and starts here.
Right, it should. You're right.
You should be acknowledging yourself. You should be looking for yourself. You should be saying, hey, this is the year that I make sure I show myself respect, I show myself love. And once you do that, you know, that law of attraction is going to come, and it's going to pull you in, and it's going to pull everybody else in.
Right, in that positive spectrum.
Into that positive space.
Yeah.
You know, because I have it to where people say, well, didn't you hear the news? I'm like, no, I didn't hear the news. I don't want to hear the news.
That's
because
true.
There's nothing on the news that's important to me as far as what's wonderful in this world.
Right.
They never say, hey, did you know that so-and-so did this wonderful thing? And did you know that so-and-so did that wonderful thing? Because I think we're also programmed to look only at the negative.
Because there's so much out there that they're promoting. Yes,
they're promoting the negative.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've been taught as a society and as children, even Don Miguel Ruiz wrote a book about the 4 agreements. And in it, it talks about how we have agreed to a certain thought. We've agreed what society has said, this is it.
Right, because
and
we
we've
allowed that and
agreed
agreed
to that. And, you know, how you raise your children, you're agreeing to society. Why do you treat a girl different than you treat a boy? Why do you say, you know, when a girl falls down and skins her knee, she gets all the loving? When a boy falls down and skins his knee, you just like, oh, that's, you know, be a man, take it like a man and walk away.
Right.
You know, and my son was so wonderful. My son, when he was 5 years old, he did this. And I was like, oh, take it like a man. Because he had fallen off his bike and skinned his knee, and he's crying and all scared, and that was my comment. And he put me in my place with one little comment. He goes, Mommy, I don't want to be a man right now. And I was just like, oh my God, you're a little boy. Of course you don't have to be a man. Come here, and gave him all the loving that he needed. Yeah. And so why should we agree to love each other differently? Or, you know, you never call a man after 3 days of a date.
Right.
You know, you have to wait for that 3-day period, or you never say sorry, or you never, you know, these are things that we've unconsciously agreed to that are not serving us.
Right.
So again, my challenge for you this year is, how do you change? How do you step out of your comfort zone? How do you do something different for this year? Even if it's something as simple as cooking a new recipe. So, you know, so
she loves to cook. We both like to cook.
My idea of cooking before I got sick was 5 minutes or less in the microwave.
Oh, geez.
You know, I'm serious. It was like, open a can, throw it in a plate, stick it in the microwave. That's how I used to cook.
Right.
And then I got sick, and I started looking at all the different areas in my life that needed improvement. And you know, cooking became a big thing for me, because when I cook and I cook a nice meal for myself, you know, it's okay. I love you.
Right.
I respect you. You know, here's my body temple, which is, I always thought that was so hokey.
Yeah, right.
When it's like, oh, this is your temple, treat it great. It's like, what?
But it's the truth, because if you don't treat it good, you know what happens.
Exactly.
We learn the hard way.
You know what happens? You get sick, or you don't get as much pleasure out of life.
Right.
You know, so treat it better. Treat yourself better. Do something cooking. My thing, and we've been talking about this, and Debra and I have been looking at new programs to bring to you. And one of the things that we're going to be doing this year is to do a cooking show.
Yeah,
right?
I think it'll be so much fun. And it will really teach you a lot, because it's so confusing of what to eat, what not to eat. And we're going to make it easier.
Something.
Yeah, we'll make it easier for you.
And
you know, the recipe right there.
You know, and it's one of those pieces of, it's not going to be this big gourmet dinner.
No.
It's going to be something that you can do in 30 minutes or less, because the part that we want to show is the fact that you can make a healthy meal in as much faster than you can go to, you know, go to a drive-in and get a meal. You know, you got to think about it. You got to drive to the place. You got to wait in line. You got to wait for them to get the bag. You got to, you know, get the food in the bag, and then you have to argue the fact that they didn't give you enough sauce. You know, so you have to go back and get the stupid sauce.
And it's just not good.
And it's not good. I mean, I've gone to fancy restaurants for the holidays, and I'm sitting there going, nope, this is not right. Nope, I can't eat this. Nope, this was undercooked. No, this was overcooked. You know, so, you know, so something as simple as making a meal for yourself shows that you love yourself. You know, and it brings healthy stuff to you.
Right.
And so we're gonna
do that. That's gonna be fun.
Different little recipes, and looking at working with an institute, a cooking institute. So if you're in a cooking institute and you would like to join us, please
call us.
And then if you have recipes, you know, let's try those recipes. And Debra has graciously said we can cook at her house.
Yeah, we'll have some fun.
Because in my house, my little counter space is non-existent.
No, but it'll be fun. Even a simple thing like I like waffles or pancakes. What I do now is I shred zucchini in my mix.
Awesome.
And you don't even taste it. When people go, oh, zucchini, or even if you did carrots, whatever, but you don't taste it at all. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And, you can hide it into anything.
My favorite one right now is the mashed potatoes.
Oh, tell me about it.
So, because I can't, and we're going to discuss this in the cooking show, but the mashed potatoes are not very good for you because, they're very carby, very starchy, and sugar turns to feeding the cancer. And so, but if you substitute 2 for 1, cauliflower.
Oh, right, that's right.
You can have the mashed potatoes, but make it cauliflower instead.
That's
it
true.
is so awesome. And what I found with the cooking is the fact that it's so much healthier, but more than that, it's so damn good.
Yes.
I've been amazed in the past year and a half that I've been cooking so well that it's actually delicious. And I wouldn't have thought that.
True.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because most people wouldn't when they're used to a certain way of eating. But so that's something to look forward to. And new books that we read, we'll tell you about them.
Yeah. And if you have books that you want us to read.
Right.
Whether you've read it or whether you've written it, let us know. Yeah. And of course, let us know at info@cancertamer.org. And feel free to send your comments about books, about the shows, about ideas for the shows, about being on the show.
Right.
So we always welcome that, or questions that you might have for some of the physicians that we bring onto the show, because they're always willing to talk to you to be able to discuss things. There's another book that we actually wrote for Cancer Tamer that I wrote that is called Breast Cancer from Diagnosis to Surgery. And it is not about my story. It's actually about how to prepare for cancer and how to prepare before you undergo surgery. So it has all the information that you need about, preparing financially, preparing physically, preparing with your family, getting your Cancer Tamer posse in line, questions to ask your physicians, because it is so important to get those questions and those fears addressed before you ever go under the knife, if that is the decision that you want to make. And I'll say that again, if that is the decision that you want to make, because a lot of the times we're taught that the only option when you have cancer is to go and have surgery.
Right,
and
that's true.
That's not true.
People think that way, right?
Yes, people think that way.
But it's not that way. And you have a choice.
And you have a choice.
That's the whole thing, that you have a choice, which is good.
Not that we're giving you medical advice, but we are giving you self-advice. And so talk to your physician, talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to cancer patients, talk to whoever you need to talk to, whether it's your religious advisor or your spiritual advisor, whoever, and make the decision that's right for you, that's not based of fear. And that's the piece that I think is so important, that we make a lot of knee-jerk reactions and knee-jerk decisions.
You have to think things out. You have to have someone with you to write notes, because when you leave the doctor's office, you usually forget everything because you've been in a fog.
You're in a fog even in the doctor's office.
So it really helps to review the notes, and also to get a second or third opinion. We're both queen of second, third opinions here. We really are. And that's
Many doctors are knowing our name.
Yes. And it's okay.
Yeah. Another thing to do for this year that I thought was wonderful, and I actually connected with BCB Bank here in Staten Island and in New Jersey, is doing a celebration fund. And, Cancer Tamer is all about doing advocacy for women with breast cancer and women with any kind of cancer. And so what I thought of was doing a celebration fund. So opening up a savings account that you can then put in $1 for every day you feel better.
That's a great idea.
So, if I'm feeling better today, I put $1 in. If I had a test that I had to do and it came out great, I put in $30, or whatever I can. The beauty of it is, and the importance, I think, of it is that we're noticing how many days
are good, right?
Are good.
Yeah.
Because we don't do that with this illness. We don't stop and think.
Right. We only think of the bad days.
Yeah, we think about the bad days or how we're feeling miserable or how we're feeling down or you know, or the scare or whatever, but we don't acknowledge those wonderful days that we have.
That's true.
And I think it's so important to acknowledge that you're doing better, to acknowledge that you're having a good day. Even if at the end of the month you only have $3, that's okay.
Right. It's three good days.
Because imagine next month, you might have 6, 7, 20.
Right.
You know, the following month, you might have, you know, 90.
Right.
Not that there's 90 days in a month, but hey, you felt extremely good and you added a couple extra.
And then at the end of the year, wow, right? Wouldn't that be great?
Wouldn't that be awesome?
That's really good.
At the end of the year, who knows how much you can have? And I'm actually, this is one of the things that I'm trying to do is trying to connect with like a cruise ship.
Oh.
So whoever has felt the best and has the most in there can get a free cruise.
Oh.
So don't quote me on that one because that one's still in the works.
Wait. We have one right here in Staten Island, the Staten Island Ferry. That's what my son always talks about. Like, I can give you a free cruise, the Staten Island Ferry.
Or we'll send you on a little trip around New York City.
Or we'll give you a kayak.
Which you, Missy.
Yes, I do have a kayak.
You did this year. You did that kayak event here in Staten Island, didn't you?
It was good. It was great.
So noticing how you can bring joy into your life, which is fun, crazy things to do. And, you know, the Celebration Fund is also about celebrating your life. For those that are waiting for that special 5-year remission, I don't think a person needs to wait, and this is a whole nother thing, but I don't think you need to wait 5 years to say you're in remission.
Right.
But that's what the drug companies and the medical people have said, that you need to wait to make sure that you're cancer-free.
But unfortunately, it seems like all the studies are only 5 years. So
because that's how far the medicine has gone, 5 years, and now they're doing the medicine, let's keep the woman on for 10 years so we can have our study.
Right.
So whole nother discussion. But if you're waiting for that 5-year remission, then imagine how much money you will have and the kind of vacation that you can take
5 years?
In 5 years.
That's true.
You know,
I think it's a great idea.
All those dollars add up.
Yeah.
And so, again, you know, if you're doing this, if you're not in Staten Island and you can't go to BCB Bank and do it, then go to your own bank.
Right. And
go to wherever you are, because we have people from Long Island. We have people from London. We have people from India that have contacted us.
Yes, that's
So just go to your bank, open up an account, and designate that account to be your celebration fund.
Right. That's a good idea.
That's it.
Now, that bank, are they giving, I forgot if they were giving interest or they weren't. I mean,
yes.
Okay, that's a very good factor.
So you can talk to your bank about making sure that you get interest. And talk to your bank about the fact that that's what you want it
and why you're doing it.
Yeah. Because I have found that when you talk to different organizations about things, they give them to you.
Yeah,
and they're very good about that. The other wonderful thing that we have for individuals this year that we're instituting with Cancer Tamer is the adventure, the Bucket List Adventures program that we have going on, which was actually, the idea came to me from Karen. Who I wanted to help Karen because her idea was to be able to, you know, her bucket list is to be able to go and do a race car. And be in a race car. Yeah, so that's what she wants to do.
Oh, look at
Karen, our wild child.
You never really know.
So she wants to go and do, you know, be in a race car track and be able to do a couple of laps.
Wow.
And so we're looking at being able to get her one of those. But don't tell her. So, Karen, if you're listening, it's not you. It's the other Karen.
It's another Karen.
It's another Karen.
So, fun.
But,
I like that idea.
So, with Cancer Tamer, we're doing the Bucket List Adventure. So, if there is an adventure that you would like to do, then contact us and we'll see what we can do.
Right.
You know, my adventure is I want to jump off a cliff.
Oh, geez.
So everybody says,
jumped or thrown up?
One or the other. I'll probably scream all the way. But for me, my adventure would be jumping off a cliff. And everybody says, oh my God, you want to die. And I start laughing. I'm like, no, I just want to jump off the cliff. I want to do the hang gliding. And so just jump off the cliff and just fly like an eagle.
Any particular place or state or country?
I've actually been looking at the gliding schools up in Middletown, New York, upstate.
Oh, okay.
Where they have one.
Oh,
I don't want to do it now because it's kind of cold.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like fall into a whole bunch of snow.
So wind up in an eagle's nest somewhere.
Just call me Walking Eagle.
And the mama eagle will say,
I got some food for
my babies.
Yeah, we were waiting for you. and we heard you were yummy. So,
That's different.
I guess the whole piece
funny.
around that is the fact that, your adventure starts anywhere.
Right.
Whether you're with us and you're sharing your bucket list adventures, or whether you're putting your family there and taking them with you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. I think that's the piece that I want to leave you guys with today in this show is you don't need to wait for someone else to create your year. You don't need to wait for somebody else to say, hey, gorgeous, how are you today? You don't need somebody else to acknowledge you. You need you to acknowledge you. You need you to talk to yourself nicely. You need you to fix food for yourself so that you celebrate the fact that your body is your own, regardless of any kind of modifications that you've had. And you need to say, this year, I will treat myself a bit better, even just a little tiny bit better than you did last year. Right. And require that of other people around you.
Well, I think once you start treating you better, I think like the laws of attraction, people treat you better, yes. I guess, and that's the whole aspect of this, which is good. So it's a lot of good things to look forward to.
A lot of good things to look forward to.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in the books that we've mentioned here on the show, feel free to email us or to just go to our website and look at cancertamer.org and look at the books that we have there. We'll be putting up even more books throughout the year. We tend to read the books ourselves and then comment on them as we go because it's important to learn more about yourself and to learn more things about what's going on in your life. So if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have desires that you want to discuss, by all means, let us know. And if you have an idea for a new show, a new topic, tell us about those too, and also go to the website and look at the topics that we've already discussed.
Yeah, you can view them all the shows.
All the shows are on the website. Yes. All the shows are on YouTube. I tend to, people say, oh, well, what channel are you on and what times are you on? That's too much difficulty. My brain tries to get the least information possible so that I can remember that so I can give it to you. Right. So go to our website and get it there, and it's 24/7. So.
Well, I think it's a process. We all go through everything that we're talking about, and it takes a while. It could take a year to get you to this point.
It'll take a lifetime. It'll take a lifetime for you to do this. It's one step and one step and one step, and by the time you realize it, you're already doing it. You do things better for yourself. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. Have a wonderful new year. Have a spectacular year, and thank you for watching. I'm Dr. Charley Ferrer.
I'm Debra Santulli-Barone, and I'm grateful to be here with Dr. Charley. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for listening.
Yes.